Good afternoon. Today we will study about the two sorts of a verb, a general verb and a be verb. Let's start from a general verb. The general verb describes an experience, a condition, or an action of a subject in a clause according to the roles of the verb. These three definitions were referred to the dictionary of Cambridge University in England. The premise that the general verb describes the experience, condition, or action of the subject is that the subject exists. The fact that the subject is indicated by a noun or a pronoun and the fact that the subject exists are in the relationships of necessity and sufficiency. The fact that the speaker can describe a subject sets the premise that the subject was created by the one at first. We can also understand that the subject can be indicated by a noun or a pronoun. As our Lord may allow Adam to name every subject. In other words, that the noun or pronoun indicates the subject means that the subject exists, and that the subject exists means that the subject is indicated by the noun or pronoun. We can understand that the subject can be described because the speaker admits that the subject exists. The subject indicated by a noun or a pronoun on the premise that the subject exists is described to exist by the general noun exist in a clause. The description by a verb about the fact that the subject exists is possible from the two verbs, the general verb exist and a be verb. Primarily, we will study about the similarity and the difference between the two verbs. There is an example, I exist. The general verb exist as an intransitive verb describes the speaker as the subject as an existence. The preposition as, classified as one of the adverbs, forms the subject-object relationship with the object that is compatible with the subject to define what or who the subject is. The definition of the be verb is changed to describe the condition of the subject on the premise that the subject exists already, and the transition of the definition about how the be verb describes the subject can be understood with the fact that the be verb includes the trait as a verb to describe the existence of the subject and the trait as an adverb to specify the definition of the verb to describe the existence of the subject with how the subject is. We can understand that the definition of the be verb starts from describing the existence of the subject, like the definition of the general verb exists, and the definition of the be verb is changed to describe the condition of the subject. We can understand this phenomenon with the application of the preposition as that mediates the subject of the preposition as and the object of the preposition, a student. The definition of the preposition as is applied to define an unstated subject with the subject of the preposition and the object of the preposition. So we can understand that the subject of the preposition as and the object of the preposition as are equivalent enough to define the same unstated subject. From the application of the preposition as, this clause conveys the intent of the speaker to describe the condition of the speaker as the subject. We can also understand that the arrangement of the two indications mediated by the phrase of the general verb exist as is able to be interpreted to describe how the speaker as the subject is on the premise that the speaker as the subject exists. So we can understand that the phrase of the general verb exist as can be replaced by the be verb. The general verb exist describes the existence of the speaker as the subject, and this clause describes the condition of the speaker as the subject from the definition of the preposition as, then is delivered to the object or student. We can also accept the fact that the description about how the subject is can be stated with an indication in a way to define the subject as the subject of the general verb exist and the preposition as and the object of the preposition as are equivalent. So we can accept that the speaker intends to define the speaker as the subject with the phrase of a noun, a student.